Hey guys, it's Ivy and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. In September, I read The Ark. I was so kindly sent this from Tor, so thank you so much to them for sending me The Ark, because this was like the highlight of my sad year. So, I mean, I was really excited. I have a finished copy now, so I'll hold that one up to talk to you guys about it. I actually did the event with Taylor Jenkins Reid and Victoria Schwab, so I got this one with the signed book plate that I haven't inserted it yet, and then the special piece of artwork. I'm really excited about that, and this book is so beautiful, you guys. Oh my gosh, on the outside and on the inside. So I'm hoping to keep this mostly spoilery free, because I really don't want to say anything for anybody who hasn't read this book yet, because you really don't want to be spoiled. Like, you really don't, because it's so magical. So this book is about a girl named Addie. Addie is born in the late 1600s, so this book starts off in 1698 and spans over 300 years leading up to 2014. She is a girl who is being forced to go into a marriage, as the time for women was extremely different. Women had to have husbands and be married off and stuff like that. So she is gonna have to marry, and she doesn't want to do this. Like, she wants to live a free life. She craves it. I want to say adventure and freedom, and just to be herself. Like, she just wants to be herself. She doesn't want ownership. And oddly enough, and she eventually, in an odd way, gets owned. We'll get there. She has this friend named Estelle. She lives in the same neighborhood as her, and Estelle has always told her about the gods, and has always told her, you can pray to the gods, but be careful not to pray to the ones after dark, because these are the ones you do not want to answer your prayers, because they will answer them in a dark way. Addie, on her wedding night, runs away and prays and prays and prays and prays that somebody will answer her. She wants freedom. So the devil comes in. They're in the middle of the woods, and he answers her prayers, and he asks her what she wants, and she just keeps saying, like, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. And he's like, well, you're not being very specific. Like, you know, what do you want? And she says, I want to be free. So he grants her wish, but it turns out to be a curse. And when she goes back to her family and her friends, nobody knows who she is. She can't even say her own name. Anybody who meets her will turn around, and once she's out of their sight, they forget her. So she is free. She can live forever, do whatever she wants, but the catch is that she can't leave an imprint on Earth. She can't leave her imprint. So because of this, she starts to become a muse to people that she meets. She can't specifically leave parts of herself, but she can leave little threads of art and little, like I said, she's a muse, so she can leave like little, I can't think of the word that I'm trying to, but she leaves like little pieces of like people into people's imaginations and stuff like that. So some of the characters that were my favorite in this book obviously were Addie, but also the devil, who his name becomes Luke, and also Estelle. And then I also really enjoyed the character of this young man named Remy. He's somebody that Addie meets along the way in her journey. I think they meet in France. Well, she is cross-dressing as a man, because it's hard for a woman in this time, but her features are so feminine that he recognizes she's a woman, and they make a really good connection. And I just thought he was just such a gentle character, and I just really loved him, and I loved having him in the story, because he played a really important part for Addie, because she meets him fairly early on when she's learning how to move through life being cursed. I really enjoyed Luke. We sometimes don't see him, because sometimes he doesn't show up, and then most of the time we do see him, because every single year on the day that she made her bargain, he shows up to ask her, are you ready to give me your soul yet? And out of spite, she continuously turns him down because she's like, no, you cannot have my soul. But he's pretty much like, well, aren't you lonely? Like, aren't you tired of like living this way? And she's like, basically like, screw you, I'm gonna keep going because I don't want you to win. Like, you know, she doesn't want to give up. And this book plays a huge part, and Victoria also said this in her live with Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I really love that. It talks about the difference of being alone and feeling lonely, and I really like that. I thought that was really important for her to talk about. I really enjoyed all the places we visit along the way: France, Italy, New Orleans, New York. I thought each place put a very important part into the story, so you could kind of tell where Addie was at in her life, you know, because she stays in Europe for a very long time, and I thought it was really important when we got to see her travel into new areas, because you realize that she's really grown into the curse and really grown into like being okay with this is how her life is. And it's really extremely sad because when she goes home with people, the next morning they don't remember her, and then it's just like this embarrassing thing. But they only know her for, you know, a little bit amount of time, but she can spend multiple nights with them just reintroducing herself. And it's always interesting because you get to see a little aspect of the part where she's a muse. You know, you can see like in the music somebody writes, in the art somebody draws, but she can never be in a photograph or anything like that. So one of the important things about this novel are Addie's freckles, which are on the cover, and this is a really big part where she becomes a muse, because these leave little traces of her throughout history, and she doesn't see herself as living through history. She just sees it as like part of her life, and I really liked that. I found that extremely interesting. The big part of this story is she goes all 300 years with never being remembered, and all of a sudden she steals because she can't make money, she can't have a job, she can't ever have like a foundation, and she can never keep objects except for an object that she doesn't want to keep, and she'll throw somewhere and then boom, it's right back at her. And that's an interesting part of the story. You need to read to find out what it is and why it is, so pick this up. But Henry works in this bookstore, and she goes into the bookstore and she's stealing a book, and he runs out after her. He tries to yell at her for stealing, but he like lets her keep the book, whatever. So she's going to like, you know, take it back, and he's like, are you serious? Like, you just stole this. And she's like, what? And he like remembers her, and she can say her name to him, and we want to know who Henry is, why he can remember her, has she found a loophole? And these are all things she's not sure if the devil, like her becoming a muse and Henry remembering her, she's not sure if the devil doesn't know about these loopholes and she just found like little traces, or if he kind of left them there on purpose to tease her. So that's another interesting part of the book that I really enjoyed. Addie is obviously very intrigued by this man named Henry, so we get to learn more about him and his story and where he comes in and remembering her. And it's a great ride. It's a great ride finding all that out. I really liked it. I really enjoyed that Addie was a strong female lead. I really enjoyed that part of the story. My favorite were the moments between her and Luke. I loved them together. Like, I love Luke. I love him. He might be my favorite character of the whole book. Like, I love when he's in the story. He's so cunning and just intrigued by Addie, because everybody he meets and makes deals with, they don't want to be forgotten. They want to leave marks on history, and she's just this young woman who he meets who doesn't even care that she's forgotten, like, and he can't figure it out. Like, he thinks that she'll give in to him, but because everybody he meets wants to be remembered, but for her it's different. So he's just so intrigued and entranced by this about her. And we get to meet really cool characters that are real throughout history that play a part in this book. That was really cool. I'm not going to name drop any names because you need to read it to find out. I just really loved Luke. Like, he's my newest book boyfriend, so I gotta say that. I don't know what that says about me, but you know, here we are. In terms of the writing style of this book, it is a slow burn. It's not something that you should speed read through. I really wanted to savor every single word and page. The chapters in this are actually really short, so you can flip through the book pretty quickly, even though it is a slower book. I really enjoyed the chapter breakdown that Victoria took through this, and I really enjoyed the flashbacks between 2014 and in the past. We get a good amount of back and forth, and it wasn't whiplashy at all. It was perfectly paced, in my opinion. I just think this is such a well-rounded book. The ending was absolutely perfect. This is a perfect standalone book, and as much as I loved Addie's story, and I think that a novella would be cool, possibly, but it's hard. I'm so torn because I really don't want to know anything else about what happens. Like, I don't. I just like where it left me. I absolutely love where the ending left me, and it's just so delicious because of that. Like, this book it's on my favorites of the year. Like, it's on my favorites of all time. The ending was just so perfect. It was so well wrapped up from beginning to end, and Victoria has said this book took her 10 years to write, and oh my gosh, the craftsmanship that she put into this novel is just so mind-blowing. She's so creative, and she's just such a powerful writer, and I cannot tell you enough how many times I will read this book. Like, this hit like Sarah J Maas level books for me, because you guys know how many times I read those books. Like, this hit that. Like, I will continuously pick this book up forever. I kind of think that's all I want to say. I did want to keep this spoiler free. I really think that you guys should absolutely pick this up if you haven't yet. I know I've already had like a few people message me, and they're like, I'm reading this book because of you, and it makes me so happy because you just need to. You need to read this book. It is a book from the heart, honestly. I really hope I didn't leave anything out. I think I covered enough. I'm not too sure because I want to say everything, but I don't want to say everything because you need to read it. So anyways, obviously I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. It's a favorite of all time. I absolutely love and adore this book, and I really hope that you will too, and I really hope you guys pick it up and read it and talk to me about it in the comments. If you love a good heartbreak, and not even in a romantic sense, my heart was racing reading this book because it's just like so profoundly beautiful and amazing, and just to see Addie's journey and the things she has to go through and how she can never be remembered, it's just fantastic. It's so fantastic. So I think I'm done rambling on. Please pick this book up. It's so beautiful, it's so gorgeous, and it will just feed your soul. This book will feed your soul, and it is a story you will never ever forget. I hope you guys like this review. Let me know in the comments down below if you have read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm sorry if I left anything out. I know once I'm editing this, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I forgot to talk about that. But you know what? I think you guys get the point that this book is so magical and so stunning, and I just need you to read it. I need you to read this book. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you're looking for me on any other social medias, I'll leave those linked down below. Again, thank you to Tor for sending me the ARC. I absolutely loved it. And if you caught any of it, Victoria's live events, I'm sure you guys enjoyed those. I really enjoyed the one with Taylor Jenkins Reid. It was super fun to watch them interact and get more of a backstory on Addie. Hope you guys have a beautiful day, and may the force be with you.